Jerusalem. Israel's military campaign in Gaza is now among the deadliest and most destructive in history. Experts say the offensive caused more destruction in just over 2 months than the combined ing of Syria's Aleppo between 2012 and 2016, Ukraine's Mariupol, or, proportionally, the Allied ing of Germany in World War II. It has killed more civilians than the US-led coalition has killed in its 3-year campaign against the Islamic State group. The Israeli military has said little about what kinds of and artillery were used in Gaza. However, from explosion fragments found in area and analysis footage of attack, experts are confident that vast majority dropped on besieged area were US-made. The weapons are said to include 2,000-pound bunker busters that have killed hundreds of people in densely populated areas. As the death toll of Palestinians in Gaza approaches 20,000, the international community is calling for a ceasefire. But last week, President Joe Biden publicly acknowledged that Israel had lost international legitimacy over what he called indiscriminate ing. Here's a look at what is known so far about Israel's offensive against Gaza. How much destruction is there in Gaza? Hook, of Oregon State University, specializes in mapping wartime damage. It was stated that percentage of damaged buildings in the Khan Yunis area almost doubled in just first 2 weeks of Israel's southern offensive. This includes tens of thousands of homes, as well as schools, hospitals, mosques and shops. UN observers said about 70% of school buildings in Gaza were damaged. At least 56 damaged schools served as shelters for displaced civilians. Observers said that 110 mosques and 3 churches were damaged in Israeli attacks. Israel blames Hamas for civilian deaths by embedding militants in civilian infrastructure. These areas also host large numbers of Palestinians who fled following Israeli evacuation orders. Gaza is now a different color from space. It's a different texture, said Schur, who worked with Van den Hoek to map the devastation in war zones from Aleppo to Mariupol. After 11 weeks of war in Gaza, Israel's military campaign against Hamas is now among the deadliest and the most destructive in history. How does destruction accumulate historically? By some measures, the destruction in Gaza surpassed the Allied ings of Germany during World War II. Between 1942 and 1945, the Allies attacked 51 major German cities and towns, destroying about 4,050 of urban areas, said U.S. military historian Robert Pape. That accounts for 10% buildings across Germany, Pape said. Compared with more than 33% of buildings in Gaza, a densely populated area just 140 square miles. Gaza is one of the most intense civilian punitive campaigns in history. Pape said, it easily ranks in the top quartile of most destructive ing campaigns ever. After 11 weeks of war in Gaza, Israel's military campaign against Hamas is now among the